situation is not the end for the beginning. This is something I have been knowing for many years, but the things I did not realize before is that if I don't try to end one period carefully, then maybe the next period will never start. So, after all, it is not an easy process to go through the entire PhD study process. And my year of 2012 can only be recorded by tears and blood. So I started to prepare for graduation since the beginning of 2012. And at that time I was doing a TA job, and that was my first time being a TA. And I have to lead 1-hour lab sessions weekly, and with around 30 students. But it's not the work itself that bothers me, but the anger in my mind. I have to grade 9 homeworks in the entire semester, and the policy of that course is really bad, and so the homework is very hard, and students who work on the homework on their own will never get good grade because they never know how to do the homework. However, there are 1/3 of students, they got solutions from the previous, the students who took the course from the previous semester. So that they just copy and directly paste it. They don't even change the formats and then submit the homework to me. I tried to complain with the professor who is teaching the course, but he just told me that take easy on that. So it means that he's not going to take any action on this unjust, unfair policy. So I was angry, and I feel sorry to students who work hard on their own. So I remember that there are many nights I stay up the entire night to try to adjust the grades, because I want those students who really work on their own homework will not get the scores of their homework will not be too low. So I try to adjust the scores so that they receive just a little bit reduction on their problem. But those who copy, if they copy the wrong thing, I'll directly give them like 10 points deduction like that. But I still need to pretend that I'm grading according to some fair standards. So I spend a lot of time in doing that. So yeah, and that's the first thing. And at the same time, I was preparing for my last project of my PhD thesis, and I was like chased. I mean, the deadlines of the research and also those homeworks waited for me are like running after me. So I don't even have time to count the day, but just the semester flies quickly. And then luckily, in April, my advisor initiated a conversation regarding the arrangement of my prelim exam. And then so I need to prepare for a proposal for my prelim exam. And one day, my advisor criticized my writing. Like, he pointed out one sentence and asked me what's the meaning of that sentence. And I burst into tears immediately because actually I have revised that sentence for many times, and I don't really know, like, with my ability, how can I improve the sentence and how do I make him understand it. So I burst into tears immediately, and I couldn't stop crying during the entire meeting. And then initially it was because of the anger, but then it just becomes of the shame that, oh my goodness, I'm crying in front of my advisor. That's unbelievable, and I cannot stop crying for the entire day. And then until the night, I called my father through Skype, and I cried for another 3 hours. Because I feel, oh, what can I do that I cry in front of my advisor? And what would he think about me? He would think that I'm so weak, my mental condition is not strong to handle all those events. And then my father teased me like, your advisor must have doubt in his mind that whether he is actually teaching in the kindergarten of Illinois or actually in the University of Illinois. So like students would cry in front of him like this. And then the next day, right after I cried, I met Hannah on the streets. And then she prayed for me on that. We prayed together. And then it's very surprised to me that the prayer really like bring peace back to my mind. And then so I'm thankful for Hannah's prayer at that time. I always remember the moment. And then okay, I met Hannah because I was waiting for a bus to a massage center. And then after the massage, I think, okay, maybe I'm okay. I thought it was probably the end of those tragedy because I eventually passed the prelim. So I take a 2 days break and then think, okay, that's the end. I will never cry again in front of my advisor. Yet that's not the end, but just the beginning of the most terrible semester. And my mom came from Taiwan to Champaign and lived with me for 5 months just to take care of me during the time I write thesis. So she sacrificed a lot. She sacrificed the chance having afternoon tea with friends and going to yoga class and having happy life in Taiwan, but just stay with me. I don't have any cars and we don't go anywhere. She didn't travel any place during the 5 months. I have only one bed and she insists let me sleep on the bed, so she sleep on the sofa for 5 months. And then she didn't go anywhere, and so I was not allowed to go anywhere as well. So the thing I can do is sometimes I can go to Starbucks in the afternoon to study for the afternoon, or sometimes I could go to grocery shopping in Mountain Market. Those are all in 5 minutes walking with my apartment. So that's a time that's unbelievable period. And I used to have a sleeping disorder for a long time during my PhD study. It's like I cannot sleep during night because my brain refused to rest. And then I felt so tired in the morning and I couldn't get up and I couldn't change anything in this schedule because my brain just cannot rest during night. And when my mom was with me, my life becomes more stable, but it's still unhealthy. I live a life regularly, but I go to bed at 4 a.m. every night and then get up at 12. And this kind of schedule lasts for 4 months. I feel my physical condition I was totally exhausted, but I can only keep on working during night because if I don't complete some progress one day, then I think I'm below the progress I should be in. So every day I just keep this schedule. And one of my favorite verse is this one in Exodus. By day the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar of cloud to guide them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they could travel by day or by night. So this is the verse appeared when Israelites were pursued by the Egypt army. Before they crossed the Red Sea, I was also pursued by the deadlines, and the pillar of fire where God's stands are in my heart, especially at night. So I study Exodus with my Bible teacher Leeds weekly during the period preparing my graduation. And Liz has a little baby, and she has to have somebody take care of baby, to babysit her daughter whenever we need to meet and study Bible together. So previously it was Mary Cowan who helped us. Both Liz and I are very thankful for her help. Without her, we were not able to finish the Bible study of Genesis and Exodus. And then there was a period when we actually studied Bible in Champaign Library. At that time, Glory babysit Li's daughter when Liz and I studied together. And then after that, Baby will babysit Glory's children. And then at the time, Elizabeth and Glory will study together. So it's not an easy process to take care of babies at the same time and also to teach Bible. And then so because of these special experiences, verses in Exodus are connected naturally to the events happening during the periods for graduation. The Amalekites came and attacked Israelites at Rephidim. Moses said to Joshua, "Choose some of our men and go out to fight the Amalekites. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with staff of God in my hand." And Joshua overcame the Amalekites' army with the sword. So I learned this verse like not too long before my defense. I feel like I'm like Joshua, who has sword in my hand. I'm always care too much on the sword on my hand, because if the sword is not sharpened, I might be killed immediately by the enemy. But but there are many people standing on the top of the hill with staff of God in their hands and pray for me. Sam, Leeds, Hannah, Yuching. I'm really thankful for their prayer. Without their hands and prayer, I was never able to overcome the enemies. And so my defense was held on November 16th, and the date was kept as a secret for anybody, because I think that's a big war I'm going to attend, so I have to be alone. And that was almost the end of the fall semester last year. As I mentioned, that's a semester that's full of tears. And during the semester, I basically cry every week after I met with my advisor. There's no exception. The only difference is that either I cried in front of him or I can tolerate it and cried back at home. So he criticized my writing, my English writing, my presentation, my research, my attitude, my knowledge on the technical things, and it's basically everything. So I was not a ready student, and maybe I'm not a talented student to my advisor. Our meeting was scheduled on Thursday weekly, and I basically cried over Friday and Saturday. I usually called my parents on Friday, and then I cannot stop crying and yelling. It's really silly because the pattern is basically the same every week. But I still cry and quite loudly and could not stop thinking. Should I quit? Should I give up? Am I on the right track? Maybe I should give up like this. The interesting is I will always revive on Sunday. And it's like I have a conversation in my mind. What can I do if I don't do this? And the answer is no, and the answer becomes really clear after I cry 3 days and then come to the worship service. The answer becomes very clear, no, I cannot do any other thing. So I can get back to work on Monday. And I remember that Hannah used to tell me, every event happened in your life is like the exam God gave you. Sometimes you pass, sometimes you fail. And it's like I never know how strong my will is if I did not go through all of this challenge and torturing thing. It's like, after this, these many thunderstorms and failures, but I'm still here, then maybe I really like to do research. So I was like, this kind of goal is not made in the first 2 or 3 years of my PhD, and I did not know that I will one day be the past like I am right now. And from my previous description, you may feel that my advisor is a tough and harsh person, is a bad guy, but in fact, he's a harsh person, is a bad guy, but in fact, he's a world-class, super nice advisor. He treated me very, very well and really thinks for me. When I was writing the acknowledgements included in my thesis, I cried the entire night and I cried and spent the entire night to finish one paragraph to express the thankfulness to him. And then when writing, I feel that I'm so narrow because he treated me so kind, but I never realized or I never returned in the equivalent amount. So I feel shameful on that and regretful. And then, after that, I deposited my thesis 2 hours before the deadline and then graduated in December. Even the Son of Man came to serve, not to be served. After graduating, this is not a victory at all, because I'm now the first year. I'm the freshman of the job markets, and this is an even more competitive environment. PhD is not victory, but a lot of responsibilities. Even now, I struggle and have doubts on my own every 2 weeks in average. And I thank Yuching for encouraging me to share today. And I think every PhD student's life are not easy, though they don't express by tears. They may express in other ways. And I hope that I hope they all the best, and pray God be with them by day or by night. Thank you.